Domestic abuse is an abusive act on anybody that is of close relation. Could be a child living in the family or living in the home, a maid, a relative, or an intimate partner. But since we're concentrating on the intimate relationship, intimate partner violence, it is a pattern of behavior or behaviors in a relationship used to gain or maintain power and control over an intimate person or partner. The key word here is pattern. This sort of abuse can be emotional, it can be neglect, physical abuse, sexual, it could be economical, mental, psychological actions, or threats of actions that involve another person. This includes any behavior that frightens, intimidates, terrorizes, manipulates, hurts, humiliates, blames, injures, or wounds someone. It can happen to anyone, irrespective of age, race, socioeconomic background, or status, educational level, married, courting, or living together, dating, could be any gender, woman, man, any religion or sexual orientation. No one in particular is immune to domestic abuse. It can happen to anyone and at any stage of a relationship or marriage, but one can avoid or escape to a large extent abuse in marriage or relationship. This is if the red flags, dysfunctional behaviors, signals of the supposed abuser is detected on time and the person is avoided during dating or courtship. Domestic abuse may start gradually, irrespective of the type. It may be intentional, it may be pre-planned, strategically or systematically carried out by the abuser, or it may be spontaneous. Now, you need to understand that the more it happens, especially if the abuser gets away with it, whether knowingly or unknowingly, it's most likely going to happen again. The more it happens, it increases or escalates in frequency and severity. When physical abuse is happening, be rest assured other forms of abuse are present. There are effects of abuse on the victim. They tend to lose self-esteem, they feel like second-class citizens, they lose or lack confidence. They tend to be fearful, especially of the abuser. They can't express themselves freely. It's like they're walking on eggshells. They lose their will. They're consistently sad. You find signs of quick aging, confusion, and lack of focus. They may begin to embrace disrespect from home, even from their own children or outsiders. It also affects the marriage negatively. The marriage or relationship or home lacks harmony, and there's this negative impact on the children. They're either traumatized, the children get traumatized, and it could also have physical abuse. Okay, they could be traumatized by physical abuse as well, or they learn that such treatment or behavior is normal and okay. Now, suppression of social or economic or spiritual or mental growth happens. There are health issues, consistent stress of mind and body injuries in the case of scars, in the case of physical abuse, depression, they become suicidal, and in many cases it results in death, especially in emotional and physical abuse. When people say leave or why don't you leave the abusive marriage, it's not always as easy as people think or make of it. There are so many reasons, so many factors why these victims stay put. the blame and judgment by the family, not only their family, but their partner's family, religion, religious beliefs, and judgment from society, lack of support from the family. This affects majorly women. Financial dependence. You see, it's not just about being financially independent, having something doing, because domestic abuse happens irrespective of your financial status, your socioeconomic status, or your educational level, or gender, or age. There are women and men who are abused, whether emotionally, financially, sexually, physically, who are directors, who are up there, who are executive officers. So it has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with your socioeconomic status or your financial independence. But your financial dependence worsens decision making. It delays decision making, because once they see they're not able to cater for themselves or children, where children are involved, it makes it a lot more difficult to live such a marriage. Some people see this also as normal behavior. You see, some people feel if they're not hit, they're not beaten, they're not battered, they're not screamed at, then it's not love. This is actually dysfunctional childhood experience. That's where this comes from. Adaptation. Some tend to adapt to the situation. They feel, let's just keep enduring. Now, children and lack of sufficient welfare. This is also in line with financial dependence. Security of life and failure of the legal system. Loss of self-esteem, not being sure of anything, or if they can or cannot. Confusion, as they're not sure if the abuse is enough reason to leave. You see some people saying, oh, is it not just, do I tell people I left just because of? So there's this confusion. They do not know whether the abuse is enough reason to go. Not being able to differentiate anymore. It's part of adaptation. They can't differentiate, the difference between love and abuse, because they have endured and they've stayed for so long. They now start merging, behaviors. It's part of confusion as well. Pride and ego. This is where you find the men folk. Fear of the unknown, societal expectations, attachment disorders, fear of not finding a better partner. They feel, entering from frying pan to fire. If they embarrass or make fun of you in front of friends, family, or strangers, or put you down, or make light your accomplishments, or make light your feelings or concerns, or or brush what concerns you aside, or they invalidate you, they make you feel you are unable to make decisions, they use intimidation or threats to gain compliance, they tell or make you or make you feel you're nothing without them. They treat you roughly, grab, push, pinch up, or even hit. Even in form of jokes. As long as you see it is a pattern, it's a sign of abuse. It could be that this person may be abusive. They could call several times in a day, or they even show up to make sure you're where you said you will be. Not because they love you, but simply because they want control. What we may call monitoring spirits. They use drugs or alcohol or anger as an excuse, saying hurtful things or abusing you, and then they turn around to blame you for how they feel or act, or how they acted. They gaslight or make you feel guilty, or each time you complain of something concerning their behavior, they shove your own faults to your face just to counter theirs or in defense of their behavior. If you consistently suspect, especially if you're still courting or you're dating, if you consistently suspect they are abusive, you watch how they treat people close to them, family, friends, colleagues, strangers. Listen closely to their words or stories of the past, or in the case of an assumed event, and what they say they would likely do. For instance, if they turn out to say, oh, if this should happen, if that should occur, this is what I'm going to do, and that is what I'm going to do. Be attentive. Yes, of course, people with a dysfunctional behavior or a mental disorder or personality disorder, like narcissists, those who have the issue of learned behavior, especially from childhood, and learn that it is okay. It could be, religious and cultural beliefs or misinterpretation of these beliefs. Well, creating awareness, talking to someone, a professional, not just someone who is willing to help, but somebody who knows what to do, knows how to help, how to support. Purposeful dating and courtship, we've looked at this before. Personal growth, financial growth, personal investments, growth mentally, spiritually, swift action and decision making, in this case separation, dialogue and effective communication, therapy and healing, education of the society, and societal perception must change. The legal system needs to step up, as well as the security agencies. Children involved need to be paid attention to, talked to, and informed of what's going on, as they may not be able to process it. Teach them such abuses or behaviors are not right. If possible, they need counseling to cushion the psychological hits they may face or be facing due to their parents' situation, whether they are separated or not.